Charlie entered the elevator and went to the top floor, the 15th floor. He found Jasmine and told her his overall opinion about the feng shui of the club. Warnia was a little disappointed when she heard that the feng shui was unremarkable and blunt. It seemed that the feng shui master she hired previously was not very great at his job. She asked anxiously, "Master Wade, do you have any idea on how to improve the club's aura?" Charlie smiled faintly. "Have someone planted 2 pine trees on the first floor, placed in the southeast and northwest corners facing each other. Then, replace the 2 stone pillars at the main door with stone lions, not a male and a female, and definitely not a lioness and a cub. It must be 2 male lions, and you must not place them in parallel. Their eyes must be at a 90-degree angle. Have someone make 2 gold foils and press them under the stone lion. By doing this, you can form an auspicious configuration of 2 lions gathering wealth." Warnia asked reflexively, "May I know what the perspective behind the configuration is?" Charlie explained calmly, "The gathering of wealth with 2 lions is feng shui for wealth with the lions as its main elements and the pine trees as the supplement. These, alongside the combination of the gold foil and the existing structure in the club, will bring the wealth and prospect of the club to the next level once the pattern is done." Warnia was astonished and amazed. She had never heard of the method that Charlie suggested. At the same time, she was impressed by Charlie's extraordinary ability. He could present such an amazing effect with just a simple guide. He was truly amazing. Just as her grandpa had said, Master Wade was indeed the real dragon among mankind. Warnia said gratefully, "Thank you, Master Wade, thank you so much. I'll allow my people to do as you say right away." Charlie nodded. He looked at his watch and realized that it was almost time for him to go home and make dinner. He said to Warnia before he left, "Remember what I told you. Hurry and arrange for your men to make the arrangements. It's getting late. I have to go now." "I'll see you off then." "No thanks," Charlie answered. "I'll go to the 2nd floor to meet Oscar. I saw him just now on my way up." "But I can't let you leave alone." "All right then. Take your car and wait for me outside the lobby on the 1st floor. I'll drop by to say a quick hello and then we'll go." "Okay, Master Wade. I'll wait for you in the car." Charlie didn't intend to meet Oscar at all, but the main reason was that he wanted to see how Wendy and Jeffrey were doing. When he came to the washroom on the 2nd floor, they had just licked the 2nd urinal. Their faces were as pale as snow, and the floor was full of their vomit filth. Oscar quickly greeted, "Hi, Master Wade." Charlie frowned in dismay. "What is this? Just the 2nd one? Don't you think they're a little too slow?" "Master Wade, they had almost emptied their bile juice by now." Charlie said coldly, "Give them an hour. If they can't finish licking all the urinals here within an hour, go and lick the 3rd floor's washroom too." "Yes, boss." Oscar nodded and then shouted to the 2 of them, "Do you hear him? Hurry up, otherwise there will be 8 more urinals waiting for you." Both of them trembled in shock. Wendy even spat out a mouthful of bile, but she wiped her mouth and continued licking the urinal. At a certain moment, Charlie wondered if he was being too harsh towards a woman. On second thought, nope. She got what she deserved. Wendy was the femme fatale with a heart as malicious as snakes and scorpions. There were so many occasions where she had instigated others to insult him, and she had even wanted to rob his manhood. If it wasn't for his connections and ability, he would have died from her schemes. So, he merely gave her a lesson that she would never forget for the rest of her life. Charlie said to Oscar, "I'm leaving now. Miss Song is waiting for me downstairs. Supervise them carefully. If I find out that you've let them off the hook easily, I'll hunt you down." Oscar bowed frightfully. "Don't worry, Master Wade. I'll keep my eyes on them at all times. I won't spare them." "Okay." Charlie nodded and turned away. After he left, Wendy and Jeffrey increased their speed and licked the disgusting urinal faster in fear of being punished for their slowness. When they finally finished licking the right urinals, their tongues had almost detached from their mouth, and the smell on their tongues was so disgusting and unbearable as if they had been marinated in urine for a year. No words could describe the horrible smell in their mouths. Their whole body was soaked in a disgusting and irritating smell. They wanted to rinse their mouths with tap water, but Oscar didn't agree to their request for fear that Charlie would blame him for having mercy on them. He hurriedly asked his men to kick them out of the club. Once they were out, They plunged into the fountain pool at the main entrance and washed. They rinsed their mouths and washed their faces, hands, and tongues as if they had never showered before. After more than half an hour of washing, their mouths still stank with the awful smell. They collapsed dejectedly, wishing that they could just cut off their stinky tongues and throw them into the sewer. Wendy wailed frustratedly beside the fountain as she could still smell the disgusting smell from her mouth. She almost lost her mind from the irritation she felt from Claire earlier. Now, because of Charlie, she was almost at the brink of becoming insane. Jeffrey was no better. Damn it, he had never been so humiliated before in his life. It was so fucked up. The point is, what and who gave Charlie such an honor? Damn, Oscar was the majestic and distinguished butler of the prominent Song family. But when he saw Charlie, it was like a mouse meeting a cat from the way he licked his boots. Damn. Jeffrey turned his gloomy face at Wendy and asked, "What is this fucking Charlie's background, seriously?" "He's a deadbeat loser. He lost his parents at 8, grew up in the orphanage, then married into our family as a live-in son-in-law. He's nothing but a miserable loser." Jeffrey frowned in disgust. "Oh my God, can you stay further away from me when you talk? Your mouth is so fucking smelly." Wendy threw a sideway glance at him, thinking, "Damn it, you smell too. I'm not avoiding you. How dare you be disgusted by me?" She wanted to tell him the same thing, but she didn't dare to provoke him, so she moved a few steps away from him. Jeffrey started again. "Then why are both Oscar and Miss Song so respectful to the bastard?" "I don't know. I'd also like to know why. Last time, he didn't even dare to talk back when I scolded him in front of everyone. During meals, he had to apologize to me if I poured water on his head. When our family had a gathering, he was not allowed on the table, and he had to sit at the side with the rest of the servants to serve us. During the New Year's Eve dinner, I even slapped him for breaking a plate." Wendy sighed dejectedly and continued, "I don't know why the loser has become a godlike figure all of a sudden. Suddenly, everyone is calling him Master Wade. The tides have turned now. Many people who want to insult him end up being insulted themselves." Then she added in a surprised tone, "Oh yes, Kenneth. He's sexually strong and competent for his age, and he's even better than a young man, but after a conflict with Charlie, he suddenly became impotent. We still don't know if it's Charlie's doing, nor when and how he'd done it." "Fuck!" Jeffrey gritted his teeth in dismay. "I must take revenge on him for what he's done to me. I need to talk to Kenneth about our future plans." In her Rolls-Royce, Warnia sent Charlie all the way to the supermarket. Soon, the majestic Rolls-Royce stopped in front of the supermarket. Charlie said to Warnia as he exited the car, "Thanks for the ride. Bye." Warnia nodded at him, her expression complex and ambiguous. "Have a nice day, Master Wade. You're always welcome at Glorious Club. Please come to enjoy the facilities whenever you're available. I'll always be there and will personally serve you myself." Charlie smiled lightly and replied, "Okay, I'll drop by when I'm free. Bye." Warnia nodded. "Okay, Master Wade, bye." She bid farewell to Charlie respectfully. As she watched him disappear into the crowded supermarket, she sighed, crestfallen. She felt very unjust and disappointed when Charlie, the true dragon with superb strength, had to rush to the supermarket to buy ingredients to make dinner before his wife got off work. She had met Claire before. Indeed, Claire was very beautiful and elegant, but Claire paled in comparison in terms of temperament, education, ability, and family background. She had received aristocratic education since young, and she would carry the same gracious and noble temperament even when she mingled with the descendants of European royal families. She graduated from Harvard University, while Claire graduated from Orus Hill. Their educational backgrounds were very far apart. She was now in charge of half of the Song family's business, where each of the industries she controlled made steady progress, whereas Claire couldn't even set foot on her tiny little Wilson family. She was crushed by her grandmother and cousin. She had no firm ability, she was incompetent, and she didn't have a strategy on how to become stronger. Claire was even worse when it came to their family background. The tiny Wilson family was already on the verge of bankruptcy, and Claire had just opened her own office. It widened the gap between them. However, she had one thing that was better than her. She had a good husband. This was what made her so jealous of her. How could a woman as incompetent as Claire have such a good husband by her side? who would stay beside her so loyally and affectionately. She was so excellent in all aspects, but why couldn't she find a man as good as Charlie as a husband? Warnia was born proud and never envied anyone, but Claire was the first person she was so envious of. In her opinion, a man as capable and powerful as Charlie should be with a woman who was perfect in every aspect like herself. It would be the perfect match made in heaven. There were times she wanted to confess to Charlie and tell him what she thought of him, but she gave up after careful consideration. It's not that she didn't want him to know how she felt, but that she wasn't sure if it was a sure win. If she expressed her feelings rashly, Charlie might feel repulsed towards her and even disgusted. She wouldn't want that to happen. After years of staying in the complicated song family and in the business world, Warnia had long developed a precise instinct in judging the situation and acting accordingly. Hence, she could only suppress her feelings for Charlie for the moment and only confess to him once she had spent more time with him and accumulated enough feelings for Charlie to fall for her. After getting home and finished making dinner, Jacob, who had been out all day, came home first, then followed by Claire, who had been busy at work the whole day. After all the food was served on the table, Elaine hurried back happily and said proudly, "Hey guys, I won more than $7 grand from playing cards today." Jacob gasped reflexively. "Wow, dear, that's awesome. 7 grand a day, that's 210 grand a month." Claire frowned, displeased. "Mom, I don't mind if you play cards occasionally in your leisure time, and a little winning is understandable too, but 7 grand a day? Isn't that a bit too much? Careful not to get addicted, it's very risky." Elaine waved her hand in disdain and snapped, "Hey, I know what I'm doing. Don't you come to lecture me about it. My card mates are a bunch of rookies. They are far worse than me. I can win even with my eyes closed. Don't you know your mom's nickname around here? The Queen of Cards, that's me." Claire sighed helplessly and massaged her forehead, ignoring her. In the middle of dinner, an incoming message notification beeped on Claire's phone. She looked at it and asked Charlie, "It's the weekend tomorrow. Do you have any plans?" "Plans? The usual. Going to the market, cooking, doing laundry, and cleaning the house." "Laureen messaged me saying that she's booked a suite at the Hot Spring Hotel and she's asking us to join her. I'll say yes if you don't have any special plans." "What? Hot Springs? And you want me to go too?" Claire nodded. "She booked a 2-room suite just to invite us. We'll take a room and she has a room by herself. She said that she hasn't had a chance to invite us for a getaway after being here for so long." Elaine spruced up alarmingly and blurted, "Claire, it's a girls-only trip. Why do you want Charlie to go?" "No, he can't go. He has to stay at home and do the household chores." "Mom, she invited him herself. Of course he has to go and we must go together." Elaine glared at Claire and huffed, "No way. If you share a room, what if he does something to you? You'll be at a big loss." Charlie finally understood his devilish mother-in-law's true intention. She was worried about that. Claire was irritated by her mother's remark and said in a cold tone, "Mom, Charlie and I are husband and wife. We'll settle our own affairs. You don't have to worry about us." Elaine slammed her utensils agitatedly and growled, "Why? I'm your mother. It's my business." Claire chided back angrily, "Some things are not yours to mind. Keep yourself in line." Elaine slammed the table furiously. "I'm your mother. All your business is my business. I'm in charge of your whole life," Claire blurted, her rebellious fury ignited. "This is none of your business. I said it. Charlie must go. No one can stop him. If you want to stop him, I'll move out." "You—" Elaine's face was turning red, but she recoiled. Claire's threat to move out was Elaine's Achilles' heel. She cleared her throat sheepishly and said, "All right, fine, go ahead then, but you'd better be careful or you'll regret it." Then she turned to Charlie and said to him with a coy smile, "My dear son-in-law, what if you don't go with them tomorrow and come to play cards with me at my friend's place? I'll give you $2,000 as pocket money." Elaine had thought it through. If she couldn't knock sense into Claire's head, Charlie was her next target. If she could persuade Charlie not to go, Claire wouldn't blame her for that, would she? However, Charlie simply smiled faintly and said, "Mom, I don't play cards, you know that. I think the Hot Springs trip with Claire sounds like a better plan." Honestly, Charlie didn't want to go. In fact, he would even reject Claire's offer if it wasn't for Elaine meddling between them like that. The reason why he didn't want to go was that he was rather repulsed by Laureen right now. Ever since Laureen found out that he was her life savior and her dream lover after he rescued her for the second time, she had been confessing to him repeatedly. Now that she asked his wife to the hot springs and insisted on inviting him, his wife might be the cover for her real intention of wanting to see him. It would be very awkward and unpleasant if he did go. However, he was irritated and annoyed by Elaine's babbling and nagging. "You don't want me to go, huh? I will go then. Bite me." Elaine didn't expect Charlie to disobey her. She was panting and huffing with anger, but she couldn't say anything in front of Claire. Since Charlie had agreed to go, Claire said, "Laureen booked rooms at Champs Elysees Spa Resort in the suburbs. It is said to be the property of Shangri-La Hotel. I saw the reviews. It's quite a nice place indeed. She'll pick us up from here tomorrow." Charlie nodded. "Okay, I'll just follow you. Remember to pack a pair of swimming trunks. You must wear those in the hot spring." Charlie chuckled. "Then don't you have to wear a swimsuit too, dear?" "Of course. Obviously," Elaine hurriedly interjected. "Claire, you cannot wear a bikini. Pack the least revealing swimsuit. I don't want Charlie the bastard to take advantage of you." Then she added as something struck her mind. "Oh yes, I have a set of face kini in your size. Do you want it? I'll take it out for you." Face kini was a swimsuit worn by middle-aged women at the beach. It was not only in one piece and very tightly wrapped, but the most horrible part was that it wrapped the whole face in like a three-hole balaclava for eyes, nose, and mouth. Someone wearing it would be like a terrorist but in a swimsuit. When you put on the face kini, your face would be buried under the hideous mask and become a monster without a face and expression, no matter how beautiful or ugly you are. Claire stomped angrily when her mother suggested that she wear a face kini. "Mom, are you the devil? I'm only in my 20s. Why would you want me to wear the ugly face kini? Why don't you let me soak in the hot springs wrapped in a trench coat and sweatpants instead?" Elaine said with a serious face, "I don't want you to be taken advantage of. Just look at Charlie, sneaky and perverted like a fox. You must be careful." Charlie was extremely furious. "Damn it! I should have let Jason and his father Justin jump on you, rape you, and kill you that day. Why did I rescue you anyway? It's just a waste of my energy and time." Claire was frustrated by her mother, too. She quickly finished her dinner and went back to her room with Charlie. When they were packing, Claire chose a swimsuit that was neither too revealing nor too sexy, but looked very casual and comfortable instead. Charlie was simple. A pair of boxer shorts was enough for him. The next morning, when they had packed their bags, Laureen called and told them that she was waiting downstairs. Before going out, Charlie was still a little hesitant and reluctant. He didn't know how to deal with a passionate and bold girl like Laureen. He didn't want to hurt her feelings, and more importantly, he didn't want to betray Claire. He was in a complete dilemma right now. He was worried that Laureen would confess to him again during the hot springs getaway, and she might make an even bolder move, too. On the other hand, since he had promised his wife, it was impossible to retract his promise, so he could only go ahead with the plan. As they went downstairs, they saw Laureen poking her head out of a Mercedes-Benz and saying, "Charlie, put the luggage in the trunk and sit in the back. Let Claire sit in the front and chat with me on the way." "Okay." Charlie nodded, put the luggage in the trunk, and squeezed into the back seat. When he sat down, Laureen turned and winked at him shyly. Pretending not to see it, Charlie stretched himself and said, "Oh, I'm so tired. I didn't sleep well last night, so I'll catch a nap now." Then he closed his eyes and pretended to fall asleep. Laureen was a little disappointed with his reaction and understood why he did so, but she couldn't say anything since Claire was there. Moreover, she had expected the cold and indifferent treatment from Charlie, but it didn't matter. Since she had already liked him, she buckled herself up and was ready to fight this protracted battle with him. She didn't feel guilty as well, because she knew that Claire and Charlie did not consummate their marriage. Laureen started her car and drove to the outskirts. After an hour or so, they arrived at the foot of a majestic mountain, and not long after they reached the entrance of Champs Elysees Resort. Champs Elysees Hot Springs was the only natural hot springs resort in Orris Hill, and was located at the foot of Mount Lanris. There were several natural geothermal hot springs in here, and the Shangri-La Group had bought the hot springs and the entire mountain and developed Champs Elysees Resort. Champs Elysees Resort was very expensive with its wonderful and all-rounded services and facilities, so only the rich could afford to stay here. Even so, the rooms were very hot selling. It wasn't only the wealthy people in Oris Hill, but the people in surrounding cities as well who would flock to this place for its amazing hot springs. It was the weekend today, and the business here was booming. They could hardly find an available parking spot in the parking lot. Behind the wheel, Laureen circled the car park several times until she finally found an empty parking space. Thrilled, she looked around to make sure no one was waiting for the spot and quickly drove towards the empty space. She adjusted the car and was ready to reverse and park. Just when her car was almost entering the space, a Maserati suddenly drove towards them at a high speed. The Maserati was so fast it drifted swiftly at the corner and rushed towards the empty space where Laureen was about to park. Laureen freaked out by the scene and she couldn't step on the brake in time, so her car continued to reverse. With a loud and shrill squeak, the rear of Laureen's car scratched the Maserati's side. Laureen regained her composure and quickly stopped her car. She couldn't help but frown and complained, "What the hell? Did they literally try to steal my spot? That's so rude. Don't they know what first come first served is?" At this moment, a young man wearing a flashy leather jacket and a greasy hairstyle came out of the Maserati. His face darkened horrifically when he glanced at the scratch on the side of his car. He gritted his teeth in dismay before he walked up to Laureen's car and banged the window hard as he yelled, "F***, are you fucking blind? Can't you see that I was going to park at this spot? Damn it, you scratched my brand new car. Come down right now, motherfucker." Laureen was very upset and pissed as well. She was the daughter of the Thomas family, and there was no way she would take the blame so innocently, so she pushed the door, got out of the car immediately, and shouted back, "Hey, shut up! It's your fault in the first place! Can't you see I was reversing into the spot? Are you fucking blind? How dare you scold me first?" The young man did not expect that Laureen would talk back at him. He yelled, "Oh my fucking God, another stupid female driver. 9 out of 10 dumbest drivers on the road are women. Can you even fucking drive? If you can't, go back to your mother's womb and learn how to drive before you come out again. Don't embarrass yourself like this." Then he added, "I've just bought this car for 100 grand and you've scratched it, goddammit. How much do you want to pay?" Laureen frowned and retorted, "Hey, first things first. I saw the space first and was already halfway into it when you came out of nowhere and tried to snatch the spot. It was your fault. How dare you scold me first?" The young man growled in great dismay. "What? Can't I scold you since you're in the wrong? It's justified. Besides, I'm not only scolding you, but I'm also going to slap you." Then, the man stretched out his hand and wanted to grab Laureen's hair. Laureen was shocked by his rudeness and hurriedly backed down. Claire shouted, "Charlie, come quick, we need help." The young man glared at Claire and snorted, "Wow, such a beauty. Sleep with me tonight and I'll let this slide." Then, he stretched his arm and wanted to pull Claire into his embrace, but his arm was firmly grasped by a pair of sturdy hands. The young man frowned indignantly as Charlie grasped his arm and shouted, "Hey, where did you come out from, fucking idiot? Let go of me." Charlie swung his arm aside and said as his face darkened, "It's normal to have some accidents on the road, isn't it? Can't we just talk this through? Why must we be so harsh and rude?" The young man glared disdainfully at Charlie and said, "Huh. I have nothing to say to you fucking poor faggots. 3 people in a broken old Mercedes that isn't even worth a dime second-hand. Who do you think you are to be so bossy around me?" Then he pointed to his Maserati and said coldly, "You scratched my car. Tell me, how do you plan to compensate for it?" Charlie frowned. "We saw the parking spot first, so we were here first and we parked first. You ignorant brat came out of nowhere and tried to steal our spot, so why should we compensate for your damage?" "Why? Because of your fucking broken car, that's why. You have no right to park here. You're not in the position to offend me." Charlie smirked instead and said, "Well, we won't provide compensation since it isn't our fault. Let's call the police then and let them judge. I think they'll say that you are solely responsible for this misfortune and you should compensate us. Do you understand me?" The young man gritted his teeth and cursed. "Fuck you, shut up. Police, you say? Do you not think I can easily end your life with just a simple command?" At this moment, a plastic-faced woman with heavy makeup walked out of the young man's car. She pointed at Charlie and said contemptuously, "Hey, you fucking loser. Shut the hell up, will you? Did you know I have 3 million followers on Facebook? If you don't want to compensate us, I'll post your poor friend's pictures on my page and ask my fans to hunt you down." The young man put up a flattering and coy smile and said, "Hey, darling, why did you come down? Hurry and wait in the car. I can handle this." The young man turned back to Charlie with a vicious look and cursed, "Hey, kid, you'd better compensate us while I'm still asking nicely. My girlfriend and I want to go to the hot springs, so be a good dog and get the hell out of here." Charlie said coldly, "What if I don't want to?" The young man sneered, "A bunch of poor, pretentious jerks. Wait here. I'll let you know the consequences of not paying." Then he took out his phone and started calling someone. "Hey, Mr. Hicks, I came to your resort and some idiots scratched my car at the bloody parking lot. They've refused to compensate me and are messing with me right now. Get some guys here right away." After ending the call, the young man smirked and said, "Loser, I'll give you one last chance to compensate me for the damage and apologize to me right now. When Mr. Hicks comes here later, you're gonna be so dead." Laureen was afraid that Charlie would get hurt, so she quickly said, "Okay, fine, it's my unlucky day today. How much do I have to pay you?" "You scratched my car, so there goes the original paint of the car. It's the pain of a lifetime. You have to pay half the price of the car. I'll give you a discount, 40 grand. "What? 40 grand? Laureen shrieked, annoyed. "You're bluffing. Even if we go to the Maserati workshop, the paint for one side of your car will cost only around 500. In addition to some plate works, it will only cost 1,500 tops." "What the fuck? 1,500? The young man spat on the floor rudely, almost spitting on Laureen's feet, and cursed with a mouthful of yellow teeth. "Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know what I do for a living? Do you think you can settle with just $1,000+? Let me tell you, 40 grand, not even a dime in discount. Pay the full price or I won't let you off this perimeter. If you don't have enough money, don't worry. You can leave your ID card and your details and give me an IOU. The interest is 10 grand a day, and it's compounded interest." "What the hell? This is blackmail!" Claire chided angrily. "If you keep on being so unreasonable, we'll call the cops." "Go ahead, call as you please," the young man said contemptuously. "Oh, I'm so scared. Bah! I'm not afraid of you. I'm well connected with the cops and the underworld." Laureen admitted to her bad luck. She wouldn't mind the money at all, not even if it was 400 grand. She didn't want to cause trouble to Charlie. The reason she had invited them to the resort was to meet Charlie and have more chances to be with him. She didn't want Charlie to get involved because of her, and she didn't want this to spoil Charlie's mood. She gritted her teeth in annoyance and blurted, "Fine, 40 grand then. Give me your bank details. I'll transfer the money to you right now." "Oh, damn, are you serious?" The young man himself didn't expect that she would give 40 grand so easily. Initially, he had assumed that they would bargain the value and he would settle at $2,000. It was still a huge steal for him, but he didn't expect that she would give her 40 grand, no questions asked. Damn it, this was a fucking profit. But at this moment, Charlie stopped Laureen and said coldly, "Hold on a minute, don't give him a single penny. I'm curious to see what the outcome for today is." The young man was outraged when Charlie suddenly stopped Laureen and was so direct with him. He growled, "Okay, jerk, if you want to be killed, be my guest. I'll strip my last name off if I don't beat you half to death later." Charlie said flatly, "Since you like to show off so much, I can suggest a new last name for you. Show off." "Motherfucker!" The young man was so pissed that he was about to jump on Charlie any second now. Right at this moment, a chubby, middle-aged man sprinted towards them with a few brawny guards in tow. The young man smiled as soon as he laid eyes on the chubby man. "Hey, Mr. Hicks, I haven't seen you in a few days. You're getting bigger now. It seems that you have quite an enjoyable life, huh?" Mr. Hicks giggled and said, "Mr. Lloyd, how can my life be comparable to yours? I'm just one of the menial staff members under Mr. Cameron, unlike you with your big and diversified family business." Then he quickly asked, "By the way, Mr. Lloyd, what's going on here?" The young man pointed at Charlie and said coldly, "This jerk here is so pompous. He scratched my car, but he doesn't want to pay me. He has quite a stubborn mouth, too. He keeps on babbling and babbling. Settle him." Mr. Hicks nodded and eyed Charlie contemptuously. Charlie was wearing ordinary unbranded clothes, and he did not have the temperament of a rich kid. In addition, they drove an old-style Mercedes-Benz. Mr. Hicks concluded that they were not from any strong background, so he put up a cocky tone and said, "Kid, Did you bring your senses out with you this morning? Do you know who you've offended? Who? Charlie asked indifferently. Mr. Hicks looked at the young man and said, He is Marcus Lloyd, the son of the multi-million-dollar Lloyd family. He's someone you can't touch. Then, he added coldly, If you don't want to get into trouble, listen to me. Pay him the money and move your car away. Don't waste Mr. Lloyd's time. Charlie frowned in agitation. You're so funny. Before you even ask us any questions, you've already assumed that it is my fault and you want me to compensate him for the damage, huh? Mr. Hicks snorted. Oh my, another pathetic loser. Look around you, dog. Look at all the cars parked here, then look at your car. Which of the cars here are less than 200 grand? What makes you think that you can park your crippled Merc here? Charlie looked around. Well, I don't see a sign saying you can't park a car costing under 200 grand. What the fuck? Sensing Charlie's ignorance, Marcus kicked the taillights of the Mercedes-Benz hard and it broke. Then he cursed, Damn it, I've had enough of you. Who do you think you are, babbling here like a mad dog, pathetic jerk? I'll break your legs if you don't shut up right now. You don't want to pay me the money? Fine. Let those two idiot ladies keep me company tonight then. Marcus stretched his arms, trying to grab Claire, who was standing next to Charlie. Charlie frowned in dismay. He stood in front of Claire and Laureen, grabbed Marcus's arms, and pushed him away. The enraged Marcus shouted, Motherfucker, how dare you fight back? It's their honor that I look up to them. If you try to stop me again, I'll kill you. Do you hear me? Charlie squinted his eyes slightly, cold and sharp. He glared at Marcus and said, Don't burn any bridges. You're only pushing yourself to a dead end. Marcus pushed Charlie back and shouted, Wow, bastard! You want to be a hero, huh? I want to burn all the bridges. What can you do to me? Mr. Hicks gestured at the guards to surround Charlie and the others. He warned, Loser, let go of Mr. Lloyd right now. If you hurt him, you're gonna pay for it. Ignoring him, Charlie raised his leg and kicked directly on Marcus's stomach, sending him flying. Marcus felt a sharp pain coming from his stomach as if his intestines had been smashed. He growled loudly, Mr. Hicks, kill him! Damn it, he kicked me! Kill him! I'll be responsible for everything! Just when Mr. Hicks wanted to give the order, there was a voice coming from inside. Hey, what's going on? What's with the noise? Mr. Hicks shuddered in shock when he heard the voice. He turned around and said respectfully, Mr. Orville, are you done with your hot springs? How is it? Good, Orville answered indifferently and then asked, What are you doing there? Orville said this while walking towards the parking with his men. Oh, it's just some pathetic jerk hitting Mr. Lloyd. I was about to avenge him. The kid isn't very capable, but is very skittish. Clutching his stomach, Marcus greeted, Hi, Uncle Orville. Long time no see. Orville looked at him and laughed. Oh, it's you, Marcus. Hey, what's wrong with your charisma? How can you be beaten in Oris Hill? You put your father's reputation to shame. Orville and Marcus's father were quite close, so Marcus could be considered his nephew. He spoke rather directly and in an elderly manner. Marcus didn't dare to talk back to Orville, so he said sheepishly, Uncle Orville, I bumped into some miserable jerk. I'll let him know the price of hitting me later. Orville snorted, Ha ha, I'm curious to see who's bold enough to hit you. Orville walked forward, pushed aside the guards, and looked at the crowd. He stumbled upon Charlie, who was looking emotionless. Charlie looked back at Orville and said with a coy smile, Orville, you're quite nosy, huh? Cold sweat immediately appeared on Orville's forehead. Never did he expect that it was Master Wade who was being surrounded by the guards. At this crucial moment, he secretly rejoiced that he didn't say anything excessive earlier. If he were to accidentally anger Master Wade, he would be dragged into the misery as well. Last time, he was given the magical elixir thanks to Master Wade's generosity. Then he had already expressed his utmost loyalty to Master Wade. He would forever be his servant till the day he died. He nearly screwed himself this time. It was so close. Orville bowed respectfully and said, Master Wade, I didn't know you were here. Everyone was dumbstruck upon the shocking scene. The infamous Orville Hong was so respectful and gracious to a pathetic jerk. What was happening? It was so fucking weird. Charlie pointed at the young man and asked faintly, Do you know this kid?